Last night I had a dream I woke up from, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and in the dream I was praying for some people. And in the dream they weren't able to connect. They weren't able to make the connection that they needed to make. It reminded me of when I lived in Connecticut and I used to travel to New York City. There would always be that commuter that would run for the train and would make it. They didn't make the connection. They didn't make the connection to go from New Haven or Westport to get to New York City because they were late or they were delayed. And in the dream, I was praying for people. And in particular, I was praying for a couple of young people, though I don't think it was young people to be young people. I think it was people that were immature in what they were being brought into. And so what I did was I woke up from this dream and I was still in this dream mode. I still was in this place of process. And what I saw was, began to specifically pray for some people I knew that consistently say to me, I don't hear from God. They can walk in a room, they'll get a prophetic word, but on their own they don't hear the way they want to hear, I guess. And I long ago on a personal level gave up trying to hear the way I wanted to hear. I came to the conclusion that as Jesus said, my sheep know my voice, and the voice of another they'll not follow. I believe that if God wants to reach me, He'll reach me. So as I began to pray for these people, what I found happening was I found that the Lord began to show me that their lives were much like a radio, and that they were spending a lot of time transmitting, but they were finding it difficult to receive. So you had this radio in the room, and what was happening was there was a lot of garble going on and things like that. And so when I began to spend time just asking about it, this is what I felt like the Lord was saying. He was saying that because you live in Vermont, I live up in Vermont, and I got hills and mountains and everything all around me, I can literally drive 50 feet. I can go down and park in front of my wife's office, and I can be listening to FM radio, and I will lose that signal in front of her office. And I can come to another place in town up near one of the area restaurants, and I can lose the signal. And what I felt like the Lord was saying to me, He says, there's a lot of people that have lost sight of the signal. They've lost the signal. They've become so intense about what they're doing, about their destiny, about where they're heading, even to a place where it's almost selfish, that it's all about me. And what I felt like God was saying was, He was saying that like this radio signal, sometimes they needed to get in the proper place. Now what I'm not saying is that God is not always with you. But I do believe that there is a manifest place and a presence where when we're pursuing God or walking with God, God reveals to us plans, thought process, wisdom, strategy, those kind of things. And so, like where I move my car, literally that 50 feet, it doesn't take much to lose the signal of God. And it's never about Him, it's always about us, I think. I don't think the Lord hides things from us so much as we just get distracted. And we fail to just listen. We spend a lot of time praying, or we spend a lot of time fasting. And I'm not negating those two things. I think those are very valuable things in people's lives. But what I am saying is I think that we somehow need to get into the place of listening. It's real easy when we're under the covenant of grace to say, well, God will speak to me in my car. And God has spoken to me personally in my car. He spoke to me audibly. One of the few times He spoke to me audibly as I was driving down the highway on my motorcycle. And it shattered my thought process because it was verbal. And yet I was in a place where God was talking to me. And so like the mountains I have about me, sometimes we have to climb to the nearest mountain or move to that place where we can hear God. And that's part